Everyone, this is Marianne here. I am reaching out to you today because I'm going to tell you guys about something super exciting, which is the Ervin Laszlo UpShift Festival. And what that is it is featuring one of the most prolific minds I've ever been blessed to know. And those of you that have followed me on Facebook for a while know that I do not say that lightly. I've been blessed to know many, many brilliant people, and just being a genius does not make you necessarily prolific. But Ervin Laszlo is someone who I have just absolutely binged on the writing of, and anything I get my hands on since I was a kid. Those of you that knew me back in lower school, middle school, high school, know that I was the brainy, nerdy kid that would be coming to school and saying, but look at this, look at this, look at this. What does quantum physics have to do with history? Why do we have to look at history and not consider sociology and psychology as part of the whole class? Because don't we want to understand motivations and not just dates? You should drive my teachers crazy. Those of you that are on here, I apologize, but please know that annoying little girl didn't change. Instead, I am so excited to say that Ervin Laszlo and I are now working on a book. I never dreamed I'd actually get to write a book with him. So we are in that process, beginning it, and hopefully it'll come out toward the end of the year or early next year. But the reason why I'm talking to you urgently tonight is because tomorrow on PBS, there is going to be a special on this brilliant man. I mean, when I say, he's been nominated multiple times for the Nobel Peace Prize, and for good reason. He is doing so many things. You know, his Club of Budapest came out of the Club of Rome a long time ago. Some of you, may get onto may not know about it, but they had all the scientists and brilliant people, business people, and our spiritual leaders that came together to diagnose our world. And after they diagnosed it, they said, okay, this is what needs to happen. Okay, that job done. And Ervin was left there going, wait a minute, we can't just diagnose the problem, we need to do something about it. And everyone said, brilliant idea, you do it. So he grabbed all these different scientists and spiritual leaders and said, you know what, we need to actually come together and continue. And since he was from Budapest, it became the Club of Budapest. So that's how it came about. And it has people like the Dalai Lama, Mikhail Gorbachev, I could go on down the list, Jane Goodall, these kinds of prolific people. But Ervin Laszlo is the one who has such a genius that he can talk to any of these people at their level and just about any subject, and understands the interconnections and sees how he can make that approachable for the rest of us mere mortals. And so that's why when I say that this man is someone you do not want to miss, I really mean it. So those of you that have said, Marianne, you meet the most fascinating people, who are the most interesting ones you've met? Or, who do you look back and say, what was awesome to have the most interesting dinner conversation with and stuff? It has always consistently been Ervin Laszlo. So I want you to get to know this person that I am so in love with the mind with. And so please tune in to PBS. I'm going to put the link down there. There's also going to be a podcast and stuff. All the links will be below. And unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm getting an honorary doctorate tomorrow from Grace International Seminary. Thank you, Reverend Karen Hawley, for nominating me. Thank you, everybody else, for who had to go through all the different things, what I've done with my life, et cetera, to see whether I qualified. But that is happening at the same time as the UpShift Festival. So they had me go ahead and create my part, and I will show you a little snippet of it and a little snippet on Ervin Laszlo in just a few minutes. And I'll give you a little taste. So if you like it, the tickets to see it are free, although you do have to get a ticket to enter and to watch everything online. Of course, PBS is free from PBS. But anyway, just wanted you guys to know it. Those of you that are in other parts of the world that don't have PBS, again, look at the podcast. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be interesting, fascinating. So while I'm going to be exalted and happy about getting the honorary doctorate, I know that I'm going to be missing some pretty awesome stuff. So tune in for that really great content. Just wanted you all to know about it and look forward to hearing your feedback. But it's going to have people like the Chopra, it's going to have other quantum physicists, it's going to have spiritual leaders, it's going to have all sorts of awesome, fascinating people for our time. Because I know right now there's so many of us that are just down in the dumps because of what is going on with this pandemic. But as I was just sharing with my good friend Stephen Stefano tonight, you know what, the gift of this pandemic, and I'm not belittling the fact that we've all lost loved ones that we are deeply cared about, and that's painful. But what I am saying is, for those of us that are alive today, what this pandemic is doing is making us pause and live with intent, meaning what do you value? What are you really taking the time with? Who do you really want to spend time with? What do you really spend time doing? And that's the invitation that we're receiving from a pandemic. Every experience in life is an invitation into shifting our consciousness in one way or another. But this current pandemic, what we're dealing with right now, is saying to the entire world, and that includes you and me, pause, think, and live intentionally. So if you want to get some ideas about how to do that in your own life from some people that are kicking ass in their own areas, tune in to the Ervin Laszlo UpShift Festival and see how it might uplift your spirits and your view of the world. So looking forward to hearing your feedback, looking forward to following up with you guys. Stay tuned for where Ervin and I end up producing, and also looking forward to seeing some of you guys at an upcoming event that is at the George Bush Center, the DC conference here in Dallas. So anyway, so many exciting things coming up, but I just wanted to share that with you. And stay in tune to this video, because in just a few minutes, you're going to get a brief clip of what's going to be coming up on PBS and the podcast. So lots of love to you. See you soon.
Who is Ervin Laszlo? He is one of the most extraordinary thinkers of our time. Did you know this true modern-day genius, twice nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, has authored more than 90 books, which have been translated into 24 languages, and has published in excess of 400 articles and research papers. The founder of the Club of Budapest, an international think and do tank, whose membership includes Desmond Tutu, Jane Goodall, Deepak Chopra, Sharon Stone, Mikhail Gorbachev, Muhammad Yunus, and the Dalai Lama, among many others. After 5 decades of research, Ervin Laszlo is now universally regarded as the preeminent expert in the evolving field of quantum consciousness. He is at the forefront and pushing the boundaries of contemporary sciences and, through his work, is opening the floodgates to a new frontier and paradigm in human evolution.
The change of man is the key to changing everything else in the world. Without it, nothing will significant will change. What we need is not just patching up, not just solutions to current problems. What we need is a transformation, a fundamental transformation, which means a change of values, the change of thinking, change of consciousness, change in the way the human being thinks and acts.
Books from quantum physicists, we have books from spiritual leaders, and we have information from people. This was a gift from the Tolteca. We have information from ancient cultures, all searching. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What can any of that knowledge tell me, if anything at all, about how to get along with each other? So when we talk about upshifting, which is a fabulous word that Ervin Laszlo has created, upshifting generally means shifting our perspective. And when he says up, he's saying, don't just look around. It's his fault. It's her fault. You know, this is mine. This is yours, which is all at this level. He's saying, lift up your perspective. Now, the ancients did that by trying to think about the heavens. People like Keith Critchlow, sacred geometrists, they tried to understand those that made the pyramids. They tried to go connect deeper. Well, what does modern man do today when we're not the ones building huge pyramids to the sky? How do we build that connection within ourselves, within our minds? Well, the first thing that we have to do in terms of shifting is become consciously aware of how we shift our thinking. Today, too many people pay attention to memetics. Memetics are when you have that advertisement that comes in and says, think this, think that. Any of you have a jingle in your head from a commercial that you can't get out of your head? Like, where's the beef? The minute I say that, you all know exactly what I'm talking about, because that's a memetic that got stuck in your head a long time ago. But nowadays, we are bombarded by memetics. It's been lifted to a science. So how can we consciously change the memetics in our minds to say, I'm going to end up thinking I can. I'm going to end up thinking that it's possible. I'm going to end up believing that this world can be transformed from the inside out. And the way you do that, and this is very key, the way you do that is you consciously take control of the way you shift your thinking. You become conscious of what you choose to surround yourself by, what you choose to engage with, what you choose to pursue. Because all those things that you're involved with create the culture and environment that you're in. And if we start becoming more aware of that, then we are collaboratively not just shifting around the culture in our little bubbles, but we have the potential, you have the potential to shift humanity to a level it has never been before. And that is the beauty of trying to think of what it means to upshift.
This PBS national public television documentary entitled Life of a Modern-Day Genius, Ervin Laszlo. We will reveal the story of Ervin's amazing life and how he began his unconventional journey into the world of quantum physics and consciousness. His profound writings and teachings will bring to the world a deeper understanding of his life's work. His quest for knowledge brings important and valuable insights and solutions to many of the dilemmas we face in the world today.
So in this full universe, all things interact with all other things. Nothing is separate with any other things. Everything interacts as a whole system, and this whole system evolves, it changes, and this comes from quantum physics.
You take the reins of control of your life. There is no end in sight. There is no limit to the kind of impact you can have in this world. So there's so many ways to do that. You can have international outreach programs. I'm very blessed in the Menacing Institute to do that. You can write books. You can protest in the streets. You can do anything. You can just be doing community garden in your part of the world, and it can have an impact. But the most powerful thing that you can do to have an impact is in your mind. So focus on upshifting your mind, and that will help transform the world.